Hello everyone. As we discussed in class the last time, I said I will be coming out with a WordPress tutorial that is going to guide you through every step of creating a stunning website using the world's most popular content management system. Well, I'm thrilled to be your guide on this exciting journey. Now, irrespective of your background, whether you are a beginner looking to launch your first website or you're a seasoned pro in the creating of websites using WordPress, and would want to probably enhance your skill, I believe you've come to the right place to learn. Well, in this comprehensive tutorial, I will cover everything you need to know to unlock the full potential of WordPress. So from setting up a local domain and hosting to the installation of WordPress content themes, adding plugins, optimizing your sites from search engines. We will be going and covering a lot of topics. Well, I'll break down complex concepts into simple, actionable steps. And this will ensure you to gain confidence in navigating the WordPress landscape. Now, without wasting much time, I would want to delve straight into today's course. But before then, there are three main things that I'll be going through or that will serve as a guide to complete this tutorial. So I'll begin with the setup of WordPress. I'll also talk about how the organization of most of the content that we put on the website will be, and also how the design will be to enable us have the best of views when it comes to the website that we design. Now let's delve straight into WordPress. Now most video tutorials that are online in the creation of websites using WordPress usually move straight online by the purchase of domain, also a hosting environment to start up the process. Now, I believe most of you do not have enough money at this particular time. Those that do, that is also okay. But there are times a developer or a website designer would want to start the process on his local machine. And when he is done, we'll push everything online to make it easier. So we're going to start with the installation of in fact, what we call a web server. So the web server is going to serve the web pages that we're going to create. And per what I talked about in class, an example of one of the popular web servers that we're going to use is the XAMPP web server. So the first thing I will do is to go to our browser. So we look out for what I would want you to do is to go straight to XAMPP download. In your browser, you just type XAMPP download. It will take you to the first link that you see in here. So you can see download XAMPP. If you recall, I said there are other options too that are available. So you can download the latest version of XAMPP. These are the versions that are available currently. I already have this one downloaded, which is the 8.2.4. You can download this, any of these, but personally, I prefer you download the latest one. And secondly, you go to WordPress, the same browser, you type WordPress download. So that is going to take you to where the WordPress website is for us to download the WordPress file. So you can click on this one. So it will take us to wordpress.org/download. This will give us the latest version of WordPress that is available. So here you can see download WordPress version 6.2.2. Fortunately, I already have these two files downloaded, the XAMPP server and also the WordPress installation file. So I'm going to begin by locating those files and starting the installation process. So I'll first of all go to my downloads. I'll look out for XAMPP. So this is the XAMPP web server. In fact, instead of buying a domain online, XAMPP is going to serve as a web server to help us have a local domain where we will store our files to as well. So the domain together with the hosting will all reside in here with the installation of XAMPP. So I'll click on XAMPP, I'll have it installed. But before you go through all these, you need to download these two files. These two files are the ones you're going to use to complete the WordPress installation. So just like any installation on Windows environment, you can just give access to it to start the installation process. All right, so we have welcome to XAMPP. I think the installation it says it's important we activate. Yes, yes, we agree. So we'll say okay to this. And personally, you can see the path for the installation of the XAMPP would be in drive C, program file. But I would want us to change it to this. So drive C XAMPP. So we go through next. So the installation process is underway. Now I'm going to pause this and wait for the installation to complete, then we will continue. Okay, so the installation for XAMPP is done. So the question that is being asked is, do you want to start the control panel right away? I will say yes. So I'll maintain this and say finish. So this is going to launch the control panel for the XAMPP application. Now, again, in class, I said there are so many web servers that are available. XAMPP is one of them. We have LAMP, we have ARMS, we have we even have WAMP, WAMP. Those are all examples of web service that we can use. Now, so still on this. Now, to be able to run WordPress, we need to have Apache and MySQL running. These are the two main servers that needs to run for us to be able to install the WordPress application. So I'm going to start these two services. So I'll start Apache. I'm also going to start MySQL. So I'll maintain what we have here. It says allow Apache web server to communicate on these servers, so private networks together with. I'm going to allow on all these. I'll say allow. I'll say allow for these two. MySQL is also going to be allowed. So we'll be able to have access to the database. So allow. I hope this does not take a while. All right, so still we have the XAMPP running. If we recall in the previous lecture in class, I said web servers run on port 80 and port 443. 443 tells us that we are running on a secured SSL, secured HTTP protocol. So that is how come we have HTTPS. So we have HTTP without the S that runs on port 80. MySQL by default also runs on port 3306. So once we have these two running, then it means our web server is ready to start the installation, ready for the installation of the WordPress. So I'm going to minimize this. Then I would go into, I already have the file for WordPress, which is this one. So I'll go to the location of the WordPress folder, to the location of this particular folder that contains the WordPress zip file. So this is a zip file for WordPress. So I'll copy this file and take it to the root folder for our web server. So if you recall, the web server was installed on drive C in a folder called XAMPP. Those that will install AMPs, you will see in drive C AMPs, and within it you see a folder called www. So those with XAMPP, you will see XAMPP and a folder called htdocs. So all your websites that frameworks that fall under WordPress is going to reside in this particular folder. I'll paste the zip file in here, which is our WordPress installation file. Then I will unzip the content. I'll extract all the content from that to the same folder, which is htdocs. Again, those that are using AMPs, you would go to drive C, AMPs folder, www folder. Now, I already have a video online, which I'm going to send to the classroom. In fact, this week is meant for your WordPress tutorial. So use this week to come out with your own, to start to learn and complete the WordPress assignment. So the same way, I'm going to pause the video and wait till the extraction of the file, then we'll continue.
For what purpose, you might wonder, can spell be used? Spell can be.
Okay, so the extraction is done. We have it in here in this particular folder. So I'm going to go into the folder, copy this WordPress folder and bring it back again to the htdocs folder. Then I would delete this particular folder from it. So you can see from here, this is the WordPress folder that was obtained from the extraction of this zip file. So I have this in here. These are the files that make up the website, the WordPress framework. So to access this, if you recall, the htdocs is where the content is going to be. So we'll go straight to the browser and we'll type localhost. This is from the other tutorial that I gave online. So when I do type localhost, sorry, all right, it takes me to the dashboard of the XAMPP application. So we have a dashboard in here. So let me go back again to the htdocs. You can see there is a folder called dashboard in here where we have our WordPress also in here. So if you want to access the WordPress folder, then instead of dashboard, we're going to use WordPress. So I'm going to replace this with WordPress. So localhost, sorry, localhost WordPress. So I'm going through the installation process. So next. So these are the things that I need to do to be able to have a successful installation of WordPress. So I need to create a database and give it a name. I need to have a username for the database. I need to have a password for the database, and I need to have a database host. Then a table prefix, whichever one that I like. So first of all, let's go. You'll recall that the XAMPP server has Apache and MySQL. And MySQL and Apache were the two servers that we started in here. So to access MySQL, there is also a framework which we call PHP MyAdmin that helps you graphically administer or work on databases. Instead of going through the command line to go into databases, we can just type localhost /PHP MyAdmin. So this is a framework that helps you manage your MySQL database. So we're going straight into the PHP My Admin. This automatically talks to my SQL database. So when it is launched for the first time, you will see a list of all the databases that are available in MySQL. So while this runs, so from here you can see there are about 5 databases that are available in MySQL by default. So usually anytime you have MySQL installed, you will see these 5 databases that are installed by default in MySQL. So what I want us to do is to create a WordPress database. I'll click on New. Then from here, I'll type WordPress. I'm using the same name because I want to be able to know the folder that links to the WordPress database. That's how I'm still using WordPress. So now we have our WordPress will be added to the databases, so which is here. All right. So MySQL always comes with a default user called root and a password which is nil. There's no password for MySQL whenever you have it installed for the first time. So the username is going to be called root, but for the password, we will have nothing in there. Of course, we can create our own user and a password by going through privileges, and sometimes too by going through. So when we are in the privileges, we can create a new user and so on and so forth. But I'm not going to do that because I want us to be able to have access to the WordPress interface as quickly as possible. So now we'll continue with the process. So we'll click on Let's Go to start the installation process of MySQL. First of all, we were told to have our database name set up. Now our database, which you recall, that the one we just created is called WordPress. And the username for the database, I told you, comes with a default username called root, and the password that it comes with is nothing. So we don't have any password in here. For the database host, we are going to maintain the local host and the table prefix. So what is going to prefix it? All the tables that will be created in my SQL databases or WordPress databases is going to start with WP underscore. So I'll just click on submit. Those of you who already have those that use AMPs, you might be required to use a default password and use and username. So you should be able to do that creation and also input those values in the previous in the previous text box that you saw. So we click on run installation. All right, so this is the interface that we have in here. So let's call this site title. So that is what is going to show at the top, like what we have here, WordPress installation. So that's the title of the site. And this, in our installation, we're just probably going to say WordPress website. You could use anything. You could use your name or anything. So the username that we're going to use is the username that is going to have access or full access to the WordPress framework or website. So I'll use administrator. You can use your name. And the password, you can use any password. I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So I'll confirm use of the same password. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Let me add 0 to it. So this search engine visibility. This current search engine from indexing the site. We can choose to check this one, but I personally will prefer this up to we maintain it, we make it visible for search engines to, you know, index our sites. So I'll click on install WordPress. So username is administrator, and the password is what we have in here. There is an email somewhere. I was not seeing an email. Sorry, this is email. So I'll probably use an email. Let me use, let's see. Let me use this email. Okay, better still, let me say me@me.com. But you can use your own email. I'm using this because I have full access to the database, so I can always go and do some changes in there. All right, so I'll start with the installation process. You can see there were no tables in here, but because the installation is running right after it, we should be able to see lots of tables in there. And these tables are generated by the WordPress framework. So install ongoing. Now, I made you set up this on your local computers because I would want you to do this presentation for me to see. But if you think you have a hosting environment which you can do directly and you will have internet access during the presentation process, you can do that. That is also accepted. Okay, this is the message I'm getting. Change your password. The password you just use was found in a breach of, yeah, I understand. I'm being forced to change my password, so I'm going to change it because it's too weak, you know. But we have WordPress installed, so let's log in. All right, so I use the username administrator. And the password 123456789 So I'll log in with that. All right, so we've been taken to the dashboard of our WordPress website. So congratulations, we've been able to install WordPress on a local server. We want to see how the website looks like. When I click on WordPress website, it will take us to our website, which is localhost WordPress. So this is how the website looks like by default. This is how it looks like. So there are certain things, of course, we're going to change the interface and the rest and do other things with it. So we have been able to install our WordPress. So let's go back again to the dashboard. So the next video that I'm going to come out with, we're going to go into the explanation of what the dashboard is, which is what you see here, how to delete plugins, how to delete pages and posts, how to back up our websites, how to have titles for our websites. We'll go through a series of stuff that will help us, come out with a very beautiful website. Some of this will also include the installation of themes, theme styles, how to edit websites and do other things on the WordPress environment. So thank you very much. I hope to see you in the next video where we're going to go through how to make our website look so beautiful.